So we're gonna try to cover what we have in our scheduler, and what you're seeing on the screen that we're sharing with you is having both the what we call the domain schedule header and the course scheduler header. Obviously, there will be many common areas between the two, especially in the setup. We will be discussing these. Mainly, we can have the layout of the period of recesses and break, which is different in the domain, because in the, let's say, primary 1, 2, you may have different breaks between year 1, year 2 versus year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and so on and so forth. So in the domain schedule, we can have multiple layouts, hours starting from different time to different time, and so on and so forth. Versus in the course scheduler, grades 9, 10, 11, 12, all grades for year 7 all the way to year 12, they don't have what we call a layout, meaning break intervals. Okay, so this is one of the things that we have differences between the domain and the courses. So right now here we have what we call the secondary school layout, that if we go to the details of it, we can see that we have, first of all, the period column, the first column. This is defined, and you can define it, you can change the sign, but I think we took it from a previously defined period header before. The hours, then you have the studying days, Monday through Thursday, and that's how we define the AM registration, PM registration, the breaks that you have in between. So for the schedule layout of the high school, we have those 6 teaching periods, and those are the sessions that needs to be populated. Versus in the primary, we have a different layout. For example, we took one sample. So we have period 1, period 2, break, period 3, period 4, break, and period 5, period 6. Okay, so different layouts that to be used for the domain versus the one that's used for the courses. More so for the domain, you could have even different layout for different years. So again, grade 1, 2, 3 may have a different break intervals than grade 4, 5, for example. You could also define that in the setup of the period header. So for the primary, you can have primary 1, 2 versus primary 3, 4 versus primary 5, 6, for example. Now, I'm going to keep on talking unless somebody asks a question or you need something more to be clarified on this one. Okay, we're good with this? So,
I guess, sorry, Michael, I guess you just brief us through, on the complete setup and, basically what the reports will output. And then based on that, we'll give you our feedback at the end of it.
Okay. Ms. Diana, in case you're talking to us, you're muted. I'm not sure if you're talking to us or you're trying to raise a hand. Maybe, maybe not. I'm seeing your video though.
No, I'm trying to kick students out of my office. I'm sorry.
Okay, keep on it then. Okay, so let's start. Okay, should we cover then the scheduler setup?
I think you have explained it quickly. They cycle.
Yeah, and in here is where you can define, first of all, the day cycle, which is obviously Sunday through Monday. The period header that we just talked about, they could have different layout headers, especially for the domain structure. You can come in here and you can play with those. Okay, we'll go back to setup then. What's the third topic? Schedule layout. Okay.
Here you combine period with days to come up with a schedule layout. Then we assign CS layout.
So this is where, in case you have multiple layouts for the primary or for the intermediate or elementary, and then you say these here, let's say year 1B, 1G, they want this primary layout versus year 2, year 3, they have a different layout. So this is where you can control assigning the different timing per schedule. Okay, enough said of this one. Let's I guess then anything else with setup that we need to draw their attention to?
Domains, composite domain.
Okay, we have a section where you can define what we call composite domains, which is basically classes that would be joined together. So we have multiple options in here where you can add different composites, what we call the A, B, C, D, and E composite, with each one having its different, where's the diagram? Does it show in here or no, it's not thing. Okay, so in the composite A, let's say if you want to combine music and art. So this is where we give the flexibility if you want to combine different subjects and to share in the same week. You know, this week we're giving art, next week we're going to give music, and so on and so forth. An option in the composite that we could do it. And I would say we could have jumped on over this one altogether.
Hi, Michael. Just a quick question.
Yes, please.
So would
You got muted again.
you be able to see a timetable in front of you, like a visual, or is it all just like these tabs that you have to drop into?
I'm sorry, you broke up when you were talking. Can you?
No, so I was saying with this scheduling, can you see like an overview of the school timetable,
Yeah.
or the timetable of a year group?
Yeah, so let's say we jump into the domain schedule header. This is a sample that we did, and we go to what we call the CS class schedule, and you select here 1B. So this is the schedule of 1B. You're seeing Monday through Friday. You can either color by domain or you can color by teacher if you want. Whichever way you feel comfortable checking the schedule, or without any color. But basically for the domain schedule header, you select the class section, right? Because each class section has its own schedule. And one of the main differences between domain and courses, in the domain, and I'm sure most of you understand this logic in the domain, the student have no choice. So all students in year 1B will be taking those 30 classes per week, sessions. So our schedule will make sure that none of these domains being taught by this teacher, whether Fernandez or Amina or Mariam, will cause a conflict for students in year 1B. The system will take it into account that these should be scheduled at different times because there are 30 hours given to all students in year 1B. That's inherent in our domain structure and our domain schedule.
Okay, and just to follow on from that, so that's the 1B schedule. Is it possible to see like the whole of the primary schedule or the whole of the secondary schedule on one screen or no?
No, you have, with this one, we don't have one. We don't have it a report as a grid, but we have all the printing of records that you'd like to see. So let's click on any one of those, have it to open up, schedule
Because
summary.
for example, if I wanted to, because we have 54 members of staff or 55 members of staff in the secondary department, and the timetabling software I'm using at the moment, I can see all 55 teachers and I can see exactly where they are on, for example, Tuesday period 5. So I can see what's going on an overview of the day. Is it possible to see something like that?
Okay, let me, we're gonna open up, go ahead, I would go in there and print the best before, yeah, open this and go to print reports. Yeah, print, first of all, print staff schedule, the first one.
Michael, I have a quick question about that domain. So what if people within a domain are not taking the same courses?
Yes. Your question, student, print student schedule of it.
What happens if class within a domain are not taking the same course?
No, in the domain for Ms. Diana, in the domain, if you walk into grade 3, then all 3A, then all students are taking the same classes because it's a domain. It's not courses.
Yes, I know. You might have a course or a class that within the domain, but they're not taking the same courses.
I'm not
For-
sure. Yeah,
for
go
ex-
ahead.
For example, so like for grade, let's say grade 10, not all grade 10 take the same courses.
Okay, right. Grade 10, you're absolutely right. It's a course scheduling, so it's different from domain. So for courses, yes, you will see each student have their own schedule based on the courses that they have registered in. You can view the schedule of, let's say, year 10A. Have it go. Did you open up okay, this is teacher schedule. No, not this one. Not this one. This one. So here, can you make it bigger, please? So here, what you're looking at is you're looking for this student schedule. I'm sorry, this student schedule. Go to, okay, you didn't open that one yet. Yes, class section schedule. So here you will see, let's say this is year 9E. I think, Ms. Dan, this is what you're asking for. So year 9E, highlight year 9E, I would make sure that they see the name of this. So year 9E, these are all the courses given to all students that are registered in the class section 9E. So you see on Sunday, period 1, you have some students taking the 9E NAV versus 9E FOZE. This is the teacher name. Or is it the course? You see what I'm referring to?
Yeah, that's the teacher's name. I understand what you're saying. So you've got Nav
yeah.
teaching 90 and you've got Fawzia teaching 90 at the same time. Yeah,
Yeah,
but Michael, that doesn't answer my question about whether I can see an overview of the whole school. So this is 9E. What about seeing an overview of all of year 9? What's going on in all of year 9 on one day? Or seeing an overview of what all of my teachers are doing on one day? So if I wanted to look at my teachers' allocation, so see how
This
many
is-
lessons they're teaching.
Yeah, Mr. Hamad, this is another report that shows you all your teachers on the left. You see on Sunday, period 1 to period 6, on Monday,
Yeah.
so on and so forth. And at the end, go all the way to the end, please. You see how many course sections they're teaching and how many periods are they teaching on the right side. So you
Okay.
see the report as such, this is one way of showing this. We have yet another report that shows all the teachers in the high school that you've selected. This one is showing you in a different format. Period 1, 7:45 to 8:40 on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the teachers and the subjects that they're teaching. So if you scroll down, this is period 1, this is period 2, whatever, so on and so forth.
Okay, so now, for example, if you leave that screen there as it is, what day are we looking at the moment? Because I can see 11:05 to 11:55. What day is that for?
So this is period, what is it? Let's say period 3 or period 4. During Monday, all the teachers, during Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you're seeing them in the columns. This is another way of
Okay.
displaying.
Okay, so for example, now, if I need to change one of these classes, so at the bottom of the screen, you can see Albert Chuma is teaching further maths AS at the bottom of the screen.
Zahra or
No, the screen it was. Yeah, so
Wa'al Mustafa.
okay, so let's say we look at Wa'il Mustafa. He's teaching maths to 9.3, and this is period 3, I believe. If I want to change that lesson and I want to move it from period 3 to another time, or I want to swap it with something else, is
Right.
it possible to do that?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we go to the schedule, the CRS schedule, and we go, this was he in year 9 on Monday, period 3, or was he in year 10?
Year 9, but if I want to swap it, for example, with a year 10 class,
So this
is
is,
that possible?
so this is, first of all, because you know him, he's in year 9, and period 3 on Monday, on the left side, you see it in purple, you have 6 courses. If you click on it, you see on the right side, what are the 6 courses being given in period 3 on Monday? From 9:45 to 10:40. So let's say you pick Wa'il and you say you want to see if you want to change Wa'il to switch him without causing any conflict. If you click on the other option, it highlights the different periods throughout the schedule that you could move to without causing a conflict for Wael himself. But if you clicked on interchange, it will give you the option if you want to switch Wael with somebody else and bring the same as Dina instead of Wael to teach on Monday between 9:45 and 10:40, and take Wael to the other class. Then you click on the interchange, which will give you a different option to select from.
Okay, thank you.
So now Wael, when I clicked on Wael and I wanted to interchange Wael, it gave me a list of, if we sort by day, for example, I would sort by day period. It allows to do multiple sorting in here. So let's say day and add another level by period. Apply sort, and they will remember it for next time. So let's say now you want to move Wael from Monday 9:45. It's giving you the options if you want to move it to Monday at 8:45, or if you want to move it at Monday 11:05. It gives you all the options that will, as have the same interchange. So I can interchange Luke with Wael without causing a conflict for Luke or for Wael. From this whole list, I could see it. Instead of showing it as a grid, we had to show it as such. And then, all 58 options, and you can do an interchange. So let's say if you pick one on Monday, let's change the time on Monday. Saad, let's say Saad was Monday 8:45. So we're toggling between Saad and Wael between 8:45 and 9:45, right? And we said save, and do this flip. So now on Monday, we see Saad at 9:45 and Wael, was it 8:45? Monday. Tanya, yes, this period. Wael saw on Monday 8:45 to 9:40, and Saad was moved to period 3. That's one way of doing the interchange. Would you like us to do it again so you see it one more time?
No, that's fine. I got that.
Okay, versus the other option. So the other option gives you if you want to move it without doing an interchange. So all of these, you could move. So I would click on Wael to open up the schedule of Wael here. If you click on the teacher name or double click, you get the teacher schedule. If you click on the actual course section, 9.3, Math 9.3, it'll show you Math 9.3, where is it given. So you can either open the teacher schedule and see the teacher schedule, and you can have many of those open, so you could play around with it in case you want to review the different schedules or the different courses and the periods that they're being given at. And I need to remind the people in charge of the domains, what you're seeing here in the domain, it's a different feel and look. For courses, we have it as such. In the domain, we have it differently. The way you can, again, do an interchange or change a teacher teaching from one section or one period to the other without causing a conflict. Mr. Hamad, you're referring to one grid that shows you all the schedules in a schedule type format, in this format, which we don't have, and we don't feel it being, it becomes way too complicated. We try to, with the add-ons, the pop-ups that opens up, and if you have a big screen that you're working on, to be able to manage and reorient the different schedules that are opening up on the screen in front of you to play with. Eventually, we are in this screen, for example, Abid, right? We're planning to do we have it in this version or not yet?
Not yet.
So in this section here, this window that Abid just expanded, if I clicked on the 4-course, Abid pick something else, any other period. So when I click in here, I'm gonna see in the grid below the list of all the courses that are scheduled.
Yeah, we are planning in the next version to add at the bottom of the page a screen that listing all course sections period and their corresponding schedules and time allocation. So if you want to look for a course where it has been allocated during which period, which date.
They'll be listed in the grid below.
Yes.
They'll be listed. So facilitating the process of, let's say, looking for a while, you'll come and you'll see. So in this screen for class 9A, let's say you have 50 or 60 hours that are being taught in the different course sections. You will see all of them listed below. You can pick one of them. So let's say Arabic is being taught 3 hours or 4 hours. You'll see 4 records of Arabic happening on Monday, Sunday, and which period it's on. You can pick one, do an interchange, or if you want to change, and they'll give you the options to do that visually even more, I think, if we add the grid below.
Just before I move on, does it give me an option if I wanted to move all of those 6 courses, those year 9 courses there, I want to move them in entirety to a different period? Can I do that, or do I have to move every teacher individually?
Okay, so we do have the replicate day today, but it replicates all periods. You're saying these 6.
No, so I want to move all of my year 9s. So my year 9s are in those 6 different courses at the same time. I want to move that class from period 3 on a Monday. I want to move it to period 2 on a Tuesday. Can I just pick up that entire block and move the entire block?
Apparently no, because first of all, we cannot guarantee unless it's an empty schedule that all of these would be replaced in that.
Yeah, but how would I know? How would I know whether it's empty or not?
Okay, so let's pick 9 English 1, Abid, the first one in here. Yeah, and do an interchange or do other options.
Yeah, but they move in an entirety in the schedule. They don't move teacher by teacher. So if I move time 1 English, I have to move that Islamic class. I have to move those classes. All have to move together. What I'm seeing at the minute is something that looks great in terms of us building reports and printing reports, but in terms of modeling and constructing a schedule, then it's looking problematic to me.
Because you're going to have to do it one by one, right? This is what you're saying.
Yeah, and my schedule doesn't move. My schedule doesn't move as 55 individuals. I move 1 individual. I have to move other things with it. So if I can move on this class, if I can move 9-3, but I can't move, if I can move English 9-3, but I can't move maths 9-3 to the same place at the same time, it doesn't work for me. I have to be able to move the full block.
Okay, we do have the concept of same time grouping, different time grouping. So if you know these 4 courses that we're looking at right now, the English 3, the biology, the math, and the PK, if you want them to be scheduled at the same time, we have a different option that says same time or different time grouping of courses. That once you build those same time grouping, you can, when the schedule is running, automatically book them all at the same time.
All right,
But
thank you.
once this is done, what you're looking at right now, if you come and you see these 4, to say all 4 of them, you want to move them at the same time from Monday period 2 to Monday period 3. Currently, we do it one by one because we don't know. We've never thought of combining the 4 and moving all 4 of them. So what you're saying is basically, instead of Michael picking one of them, please go and take a bit longer, but make sure all 4 courses, if I'm moving them to the same period, different period, but they're all available. The instructors have no problem with that.
Because I have to know they're all available. If I move them 1 at a time, if I move 3 teachers and the 4th teacher can't move, I have to remember where I've moved the previous 3 from.
Understand. You know,
Yeah.
it's never been asked of us, John, but we could definitely look into it. It will take a bit
Sure.
longer for us to try to apply this, but I'm seeing the same logic of picking one and doing the other option, picking all of them, and say other option, then we go one by one. So instead of have it pick biology, let's say, if you want to change other options, let's say we have one, is it happening? This is, okay. We're losing it once we do one of the interchanges. Okay, so pick anyone. Let's say biology. Other options. Then let's say you see biology has these highlighted colors in the blue, light blue on the left side. We have around
Yeah.
12, 15 of those. Versus the English has a lot more. So if you go to English, have it do again the English. No, so you're gonna do the English. Interchange, other options. So let's say English Sunday, the first period on Sunday you can, but biology you cannot. So what I'm saying is once we add the option of all what you see listed on the right side, the only blue would be highlighted if they all have a common area,
Yeah.
free area. Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Well,
I see. your-
it's essentially what Miss Diana was asking a few minutes ago. Of
Ah.
when we have different courses running at the same time and they move as a block, we have to be able to move as a block.
Yes, yeah. No, it's definitely something that we can add as an option in here.
Okay, thank you.
What? Somebody had an echo. We didn't hear, but we heard the laugh. So hopefully it's a good news. You like that?
Michael, can I share my screen to show you what my timetable looks like on my timetabling software and see if you guys can do something similar?
Sure. Let me, okay. Trying to give you the option to be the, add as a co-host. Yeah, stop presenting Ahmed for a minute. Yeah, I think you should be able to now share your screen, Mr. Hamad. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've seen this many times, Mr. Hamad. I think I fully understand where you're heading with this one. Show us what you currently do with this. Yeah, I mean, like we're not gonna get into a discussion of how friendly this is versus of what we have, but we could try to, this is, okay, go ahead, please. You're muted, by the way, if you're trying to explain something to us. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Yeah, so basically, what I'm saying is, so this is an old version. Let me close the old version and open one of the new ones. So they've all been deleted apparently. Yeah, so basically, even if I look at this one, when I click a tab, so like this English lesson here, along the top, I can see all the green ones are where the teacher is available, where I can put that lesson. And if I can't put the lesson, it gets kicked out to the bottom here. So in this tray at the bottom, I can see the lessons that have been kicked out. So
Right.
then these then need to be allocated to where it is green. So I can see now this lesson is for 10E and I need to allocate it somewhere in the 10E timetable. So with this, I can see all of my classes from year 7 up to 13. I can see all of my teachers, all 55 teachers, and then I can see the classrooms that are being used for the lessons. I can see it by subject. And then at the top, obviously, I've got my teachers, classrooms, classes, subjects, so I can see all of that when I want to have a look into each area, basically. So is it possible to have something like that on Skoolee? Because I like the fact that Skoolee is linked to our registers. And if we could do the schedule on Skoolee, having the two things linked, the timetable and the registers, would solve a couple of issues for us.
Mr. Hamid, we've seen that screen a lot, and we've tried to work around it to see how close can we get to something similar to that. We haven't been able to. We have not been able to. We feel it's a bit more complicated trying to implement such a thing on a solution that is web-based, because I think the ACS that you have is something that you download on your system and work on locally, or is it a web-based solution that you just access? I'm not sure if Douglas can answer us on that one or not. But we tried to work something similar, to facilitate something similar with that complexity of the crowdedness, I should say. On that screen, we were not able to achieve anything that we feel is user-friendly display-wise on this web application that we have. Now, I do appreciate what you mentioned, having Skoolee, having our scheduler already integrated into Skoolee, because there's lots of things, whether rolling out the schedule for the coming 3 month or for the coming 9 month of the school year, whether taking the attendance, whether using teacher substitute now that they're scheduled into Skoolee or not, any other things you could think of in terms of the business of having the scheduler, and all of these add-ons that enriches your application of having Skoolee integrated with the scheduler versus the not being used to the interface of Skoolee versus what you have in the ACIS platform. And again, I'm trying to see if what would outweigh the benefit of this versus that in terms of they can import into our scheduler or out of.
Yeah, Michael.
Abid was planning. I'm sorry, just a minute. Abid he was mentioning something.
Mr. Hamad, in our solution, you can prepare your schedule outside the Skoolee, then you can import your schedule to Skoolee, then to benefit from the integration with other, to take attendance by period, to have teacher substitute to be active, and you can check teacher substitute for a missing, for absent teachers.
So it can be integrated if I create the schedule on ACS and then or ASC, sorry, and then can I have it?
Integrate.
Can I have the data migrated over?
It is not integrated. You can import from Excel. And you can extract your schedule and update the extraction based on our format. It is an easy format. Then import this into our schedule, and everything now, your schedule should be ready.
But then if they will need to do any change, they have to do it in Skoolee, the scheduler of Skoolee.
Yeah, they can, if they want to interchange, they can do in Skoolee, check different timing.
But then they would have to be using both. They would still have to use the ACIS, which is what they're trying to walk away from. Mr. Hamad, the process of what you're looking at in here, right? This is for courses. So you're seeing the list of courses, and you click on one to see the outcome versus what you see in ACIS. You see all of them. What we explained earlier in a new section that's going to be added below both of these grids, you're only going to see those 40 or 50 courses in grade 9, not even 10, 11, or 12. So if you toggle to grade 10 above, you'll see the 56 or 80 course sections or hours being taught in grade 10 and so on and so forth. Below these, we don't have a place where we can combine from 9 to 12 in one place as you showed us in the ACS. And when you click on one, it highlights the options of where you want to move it to or not. But I need to mention one thing. In ACS, I recall that you can cause a conflict. If you move something, it may allow you to have a clash for an instructor in the same period versus not allowing you. And you said the ones that were unscheduled were seen at the bottom. Here, the ones that are unscheduled, you usually see it on the upper right. You see a number, and then you can check and see these numbers. You know, if there's any unscheduled courses in the upper right of the screen, you see unscheduled is 0. It means all of them have been scheduled. Had there been any unscheduled courses, you would see that number increase over there. So let's say in English, if we remove it from here, English. So I'm removing just one period of English on Sunday, the second period. Then you can see on the upper right, that number is that. You can always click on this one, try to add it, check the schedule, and so on and so forth. So the display of unscheduled, you can see it over here. You can click on this one, and I think, I'm not sure if the smooth is still active here or not. Have it?
No.
It gives the option though, but you can click on any cell on the, let's say, second period on Sunday, and go to here and say available. No, yeah. To add that, it's showing you what courses can come into this period, which we just, freed up to add it in here and return that value to 0. But display wise, back to that, so that we don't talk too much about that. The display of having all grades, all years, and all courses listed in that, we have yet to be able to achieve that thing. The in-between would be for class section 10, you see all those listed below here. And we'll see how we could make it color sensitive. If you click on any of the cell, if we can highlight the cells that you're seeing here versus what's being highlighted down there, to see some of those bells and whistles add in Skoolee. This is the most at this point that I could promise you that we will be able to add onto what you're seeing here for the course schedule at this point. I'm not sure if you have any other questions regarding this. I did mention we have the grouping of the same time and different time grouping. We did talk about yeah, right. So this one, this is an option here. This is what about the time constraint.
Course section constraints.
Course section constraints. So you have some classes. Do you mind editing the one that we had as a sample? So we looked at your courses and we noticed that these listed in here, there's around 20 or 30 courses that are being taught more than, they're being taught 7 hours per week. So we know for a fact that if it's being taught 7 hours per week, we decided, we're running a sample here, that all these courses that are listed in this composite that we just built, as you see in the highlight below, we're saying session period of each subject should be consecutive if they are on the same day. And because you have 7 hours a week, and there will be, let's say, 2 days where you have 2 sessions of this same class together, you decide if you want to make sure that they come next to each other or consecutive, as you can see in the screen with the check, the green check versus the red X. So I added biology, I added Islamic studies, I added the A2 psychology, and so we added it in this header. So this is one header, close habit. And then, when we go outside to check for these, let's say the A2 psychology, which I think is in grade 12 or 13.
Can you check this one very quick?
Yeah, in the reports we can. Well, yeah, you just opened these reports, Mike. No, not this one. Yeah, this one. This one. Yeah, this one. Veronique, and I see. Find. Refresh. So basically, whatever 7 hours, you will see that in a couple of days it will have next. Go to next, have it. Next, yeah, next one more time. Okay, so let's say for Veronique, for history A2, Monday from 11 to 11:55, the second period is from 12 to 12:50. And then on Tuesday, not Thursday, you see it at 7:45 and then the one after at 8:45. Because we told it that if there's going to be 2 hours in the same day, please make sure that they are consecutive. So we added that as an input in the composite, and you'll be aware of these as well. When you're defining the setup, we have other options. So that was one. You're showing it here in a different way. So Abid is going to another report to show you the same information that we saw there, but in a different platform, in a different layout. So here we see it's Sunday, year 12 history, year 12 history, and so on and so forth. Okay, Abid, let's see the other options in the composite that we had. Well, we just defined one, but there are others that we could define in there. So if we want to add, so the other options, this first one, the first one, that the listed subjects cannot be placed on the same day. So let's say you've selected art and music, and you want to make sure that they don't come on the same day because they are two different teachers. They may or may not come on the same day. If you want to make sure that these courses are not scheduled on the same day, you can add them in here and you can create as many groups as you want. The second option, the listed subject must be placed on the same day. So now I want art and history to be placed, if scheduled, to be placed on the same day. This is another way of guaranteeing it. This one, sessions of each subject cannot be scheduled on 2 or more consecutive days. So let's say here you have arts for 2 hours. You don't want it to become on Monday and Tuesday. You want to have at least 1 day break between them. Again, you can define it in here. And the last one is what we use for in case there's more than 2 hours per day to make sure that they are consecutive and not set alone. And when defining these, you could say it's a preference. So the system will try to, if it cannot, it will do it whichever way it could, or it could be strict. It means if you cannot put the 2 hours together, then don't put them. Keep them on schedule, both of them, right? Which one of them? So you could either have it as a preference, or no, you want it to be strict, to be applied by selecting this option in the importance of the constraint. So this gives lots of flexibility. Now we have 4 here constraints. If you could think of something and you'd ask us that you'd like, that you have in ACS or that you use a lot, by all means, let us know and we'll try to see how we could add that business in here in terms of defining these groups. So that's one option. What is it that you want to show?
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I'm sorry if my questions are a little bit weird, but I just like everything to be clear in my head. So what I'm trying to understand since we started that it's more into extraction, or it's more into output and report extraction rather than inputs, and that this is the just tell me if I'm right or wrong. So
well,
it's more into output more than output, because in that more output than input, because I see that the output, even the outputs are a little bit, it's complicated honestly, because all these outputs, all these reports, or these filtrations, I can just easily make them on Excel. Not Excel, Access, for example. I can make all these on Access. So my question, or I will be straight to the point, what is in it for me to complicate myself with this option?
It's a good question. It's the whole thing being embedded under Skoolee, and to be able to have it, go back and create a header, please. And let's start from scratch, from a new header where we add a new one. Just take a sample one out for now. And this is for the not primary. Okay, save. So to start with, you're building a header and then you say, okay, what are the courses that I want to create my schedule for? All of this is defined in Skoolee. You already have the course sections that are being taught by which teacher, how many hours are being taught in that one. You can come in here and go to details and add, okay, now do I need to add a grade 9, grade 10, grade 11? Which courses do I want to add to start building my schedule? Selecting all courses being taught and you apply this is one way of doing it, for example. So now you just got all the files that were defined already in Skoolee to be graded, to take attendance, to do upload of assignments, to do online exams if you're using it, and so on and so forth. All of this in Skoolee, you just with one click brought these courses into scheduling, and now you want to try and see how you could play around with the schedule to create your timetables. So it's not only output, it's input and output. So you decided what you want to bring in, and you tell me, Michael, but currently I get this from IT and I import it into the other system. Fine. I'm not going to argue with you of whether the benefit of having the scheduler all inherent in Skoolee or not. I would love to listen from you of missing points that, you, like Mr. Hamad showed us the screen that we've seen before, and we tried to build something similar to that to facilitate for the end user how they can play around with it. And we will keep on enhancing our schedule to allow you to do that. But it's a combination of both input and output of this one. So just a sample of it, and that's good enough for now for one class. So getting this data in, it's, with a few clicks of a button versus importing and exporting from a third party into Skoolee, that's integrated into Skoolee. Beside the attendance by period, if you want to take that one, and whatever ripple effect, if you have any business rules, if I'm late, if I'm tardy for a class a couple of times and it becomes an absent, if you want to have graded 10% of the grade on the absence or the attendance, you have all of that built in because now you have all of that integrated in Skoolee, the scheduling connected. Am I missing any point? The staff substitute, this by itself, did they have this? This was added recently, staff substitute. Douglas, I'm not sure about this feature, but this allows you that any teacher that, you get a phone call in the morning that, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to come to school, I'm sick, a headache, or whatever reason why a staff is missing, you can come to this section. Because you have done your scheduling in Skoolee and you've rolled out the schedule throughout the next 3-6 months ahead, you can easily come to this section, pick this teacher, pick Paul, he's absent today, and the system right there and then will show you all the listed staff who are free at this time. And if you want to assign them to take, let's say Paul is teaching math, to take Paul's section. And because you have the mobile app, if you allocated Michael to replace Paul, to substitute for Paul, Michael will get a push notification, an email message, and an alert on Skoolee that today at 9:30, even though you don't have a class, now we're assigning you the class of Paul because Paul is absent. So Michael, when he comes to log into Skoolee, he will, for this one day, see an extra course added to his list of course sections that he's teaching as a teacher, and he's going to be able to go and access Paul's gradebook, assignments, attendance, as if Paul is accessing the application to do all of this. So to your answer, Paul, you're getting all of this by having scheduling being used in Skoolee. I hope I made my point clear in terms of the diversity or the richness of having the scheduler in Skoolee in terms of what you could make use of it and all the business processes that you have in your existing schools. And we could always work on the interface, always. Give us tips, we'll try to add. We do our own research trying to insert in here, but the engine is massive. We even have a process. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Douglas?
Yes, Michael, to reiterate on what Hamad was asking about the export of that file from ACS, you could show us how to use it later on, right? I think this is a key function. If they're used to using that software to create the schedule, they could easily export it into CSV and then import it into Skoolee.
Yeah, so you want us to show you how we can import a file in here? Abid, can you? Right, this is what you're asking, Douglas?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
No, you don't need to show it to me right now. As long as it's working, I can show the team later on. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
But there is a specific format you have to follow.
It's fine. As long as I know it's working.
Abid, do you mind? Can we show them the domain schedule just to give them a feel of the smooth and interchange in the domain? So now we're toggling to the elementary classes, let's say, where we have domains, and we go and check this one. It's a slightly different feel and look. So let's say you pick any year 5, whatever. And so this is year 4V. And now here again, you're seeing the subjects being taught and the break being taught and so on and so forth. So let's say you pick one math, whatever. Let's do a smoother interchange of it. Any of them. You need to select an empty cell. So with this smooth, if you pick an empty cell, it's telling you that the Arabic Maysoon can be moved to Thursday, the period that I have it selected, which was empty, and then any one of the blue colors would move in the place of Maysoon. So if, let's say Tatiana on Thursday, you pick Tatiana to move it on Sunday. Yeah, pick this one and say move. So now Tatiana will move to the empty cell, and Maryam moved from Sunday to Thursday this period. You know, some
sure that there is no conflict with other class section taught by Etiana or Maysoon.
right. We take that into account. Do an interchange, please. Just pick an interchange here. Similar to that interchange. Again, it highlights where now Tatiana can either go to an empty cell on Sunday because we know she's free, or can go and replace Khaled in period 3 on Sunday, or period 5 on Sunday. So that's what this system will allow you to do here, and to modify and play around with this one. We have the concept of lock unlock, where, you know, certain courses you want them locked. You don't want the interchange or smooth maybe to change them. You can block it with the lock unlock option that you have in here. The composite here, I think we have an extra option in the composite that is not this is printing.
Completely fine composite.
No, constraint, I mean, sorry, not composite. So here, I think we have an extra one that is this one. Subjects of each subject must be per day. So here, let's say you have a subject that is being taught for 3 hours, and you want to make sure it's given 2 hours in a day and 1 hour in another. So this is yet another control that you could add beside the other ones. How about if you click on the other ones that we covered in the courses? So in the courses, we have the last 4 as a constraint that you could define, versus in the domain, you have only 1. And you have 5.
And here from the top, you can specify subject, Arabic subject, for which class sections to apply which rule. So as if you can see here, I'm saying that all Arabic subjects for all class sections should follow this rule, which is selected. The list subject must be placed in the same day. Okay, and you can go even not to all, you can specify grade 1B, grade 1, and so on, and even you can combine more than 1 subject to follow the same rule, if you want.
So here, mathematics, the listed subject must be placed on the same day. So math and Arabic will be placed on the same day for year 1B and year 1G, for example. That's the business that we have in here. And plus plenty of reports similar to those that we printed over there.
And here we have composite domain, which Mike explained in his initial style, which allow you to merge, to create merged domains or merged sessions. For example, if you want to merge 2 students from different class sections to take, for example, for computer, you want to merge grade 5A computer with grade 5B computer during the lab, to go to the lab during the same time. So you want to make sure that the lab, one of the periods for computing grade 1A and computing grade 1B to be at the same time. So you have this option to apply this requirement. And different options for composites, such as type D, for example, type A or type B.
At the same time.
The composite domains. For example, type E, this is the explanation of type E. If you want to create Type E, schedule 2 or more domains of a class section during the same time. For example, if you have
Students walking.
students walking,
To this versus that.
Yes.
Like if you want to split the same class, one go to art, the other one goes to theater. Right? Each is 1 hour. So, or 2 hours.
so for example, you have theater 1 hour and art 1 hour. Okay, you're in the schedule of the class, and you want to make sure that 2 hours, I mean 2 hours by 2 hours, and you want the student, part of the student during 1 week take theater, the next week they take art, for example.
Hey, if it's half, 1 week it's art, the next week is music.
Yes.
So we have different options that you could play around with here. Type teaching hours 2, composite teaching hour must be equal to two different class sections. So A and B. So this week, class section A takes history. Next week, they take geography, whereas class B takes geography this week. Next week, they take Arabic. So we have the different options of composites, from all the way A, B, C, D, and E of different composites that we have. In this type D, if you have common math, let's say here, we have math, even though I'm taking 7 hours of math, another class may be taking 5 hours of math, but the 5 hours are combined with the first class. So lots of options that we have in the domain. I'm not sure if you have similar options over there.
And in domains, you can assign a schedule layout by class section, at the level of the class section. Okay, to have different breaks, since usually the playground is common for
Oh yeah, this is
elementary
critical.
and primary.
Close this one. This is very critical what Abid just mentioned now, especially I think just because you may have a common playground. So you want to give the break for grade for year 1 and 2 to be different from year 3 and 4, different from year 5 and 6. But you have common teachers teaching from year 1 to year 6. So even though the year 1, year 2 have a different layout for the schedule than year 3 and 4, and then year 5 and 6, we can have all of these year 1 through year 6 in one schedule header, what you're seeing over here, and the system will take into account each year, the different layout that they have, that the break is overlapping or not. So a teacher cannot be teaching here in layout 1 without causing a conflict in layout 2. It takes that into account. And like it creates this virtual 3D layout of the primary, because you have 3 different layouts, making sure that the teacher, if he's teaching any of these different layouts, his hours don't overlap. All of this, it takes it into account in our domain schedule header, which I think is a critical factor. I hope I was able to convey that the sensitivity of this and this explanation. We have staff preferences that we didn't show where, you say, I cannot be here on Tuesday and Thursday at 8 till 10. So you block that. So staff preference could be taken into account. Basically, this is, I guess, in a nutshell, what we have, whether it's in the domain or the course scheduling. If you'd like to go into more details, this is something that we could schedule, but, we'll discuss with Douglas. Drilling further down into this in case you would be interested in seeing more.
Yeah, the main premise for this meeting was so that they fully understand what Skoolee scheduling can do. So now I will get back to the team, and we see how we can take this forward with more in-depth training for the teams that want to do it, and we'll take it from there then.
Okay. We hope we were able to convey the message clearly to you, ladies and gentlemen, and any questions, by all means, feel free to ask.
Are there any questions? I think
Okay.
Yeah, nobody's responding. I think most of them who wanted to ask you questions did ask you.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll leave it at that, and I will speak to the team. When I'm with the in the meetings, and we'll discuss and get back to you.
Right. And we did take into account, the couple of suggestions that we heard, which were really good. And again, we're aware of some of them, but we'll see if how we can further enhance, especially for the courses, that flexibility, that visibility, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Saying
Yeah.
everything in that
See, the
ACS.
visibility part, which is there in ACS, probably you all will not be able to match that type of complexity. But
Not-
if they are able to output, a file, and we take it to Skoolee, and it's able to import that same data, and you construct what they're doing in ACS, then I think it should suffice.
Okay, I hear you. The import process is, as Abid explained, we'll give you the template, and if you populate from that thing, you could move it into Skoolee, and then you still have the bells and whistles in Skoolee with the other processes integrated with this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but the setting for example, yeah, what I mean by the setting, defining schedule, period header and day header and schedule layout should be defined in Skoolee in order to be exported, then to be populated, to be fed back again with the.
Yeah, I guess we'll need to map those fields before we could do an import. Yes, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
All right.
that's it then. Thanks again for your time, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you,
We'll see.
Michael.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you.